Senior
They
Club.
may not focus as much.
I'm the
on
vice chairman of that.
Harold Swanner is going to be with us tomorrow here on Carolina People.
Harold
you know
Harold. Harold's the chairman.
We like Harold a lot.
Well, he and I co-counsel oftentimes.
Is that right?
Harold is a wonderful man. He's done he's a brilliant man. Very brilliant.
Sure,
and very good. And he knows the facts and figures and statistics.
Well, again, our real focus is on you, and we want to get into
okay,
you.
I'm sorry
and of course,
about
I know
that.
you're
I
active
deviated
as a score
from that, and I
counselor.
apologize
Share
to
with
you.
viewers a little about yourself, John. What really keeps you your background? Is it always been, and was opera something you actually worked in at one time, or was that just a passion?
I'm a glutton for volunteering. I'm a glutton for that.
Now. But there was a point earlier in life that
I've
you had
always
to
volunteered. Are you kidding? I've always. My wife has told me, when are you going to stop? You got to stop.
Betty Sue, your wife's a Tar Heel native, correct?
What a memory,
You did
Betty
say it
Sue.
earlier. Forgive me. Yeah, Betty Sue. Is she am I correct? Is she a North Carolina native?
She was born in, let's see, Kannapolis.
Kannapolis, close to Charlotte. That's great.
Well, her whole family, going back to 1729, they've all lived in North Carolina.
How did you all meet, John?
Well, that's a long story. Do I have to go through that?
Well,
Let's
we've
talk
got
about
about 10 minutes.
Are we going to talk about the opera?
Yeah,
we have a lot to talk about the opera.
Of course we do. And if a viewer needs to get off to work now, what's the best number?
Betty Sue fooled me.
Right.
She told me she liked opera.
Right.
And I was overjoyed. I said, I finally found a nice young lady that's so pretty and so charming that likes opera. Only to find out and discover she hates it.
Oh, she was lying to you. That's a good way to start a relationship.
She said, I don't like, after I married her, she tells me.
She was just trying to.
But she's a sweet person. Yeah. She's just a wonderful, wonderful person.
That's great.
I'm so delighted
and
and
you all
so
have children,
lucky to
John?
find her.
Yeah.
I have three children, 2 boys and a girl.
Where are they?
All of them are on Long Island. One is up in Valhalla, and the other one's in New York.
All
City.
of them are in New York.
Yes, sir. Right.
How exciting! Do you get back to see them often, or do they come down? You all live at the beach.
Well,
they must come down to see you.
They love coming to the beach.
Yeah, sure.
And you know what the first thing they look at when they come to the beach?
You all live on the waterway, so they may look at.
No, the first thing they look at, the first thing they say they want to see.
Hard Rock.
No, Myrtle Beach Herald.
Oh, great!
And that's where they find. Yeah. That's where they find all what's happening here in Myrtle Beach. Sure. Myrtle Beach Herald. We're a subscriber of yours. We always keep that.
You've been a long time subscriber even before I got the paper. That's
in fact, do you know Shirley and Herb Bajerke?
I should. I'm forgetting.
They have every edition of the Myrtle Beach Herald. So if you want to find something, and go to the morgue. You don't have to go to your paper. You go to Herb and you go to Shirley. Say, Shirley, on September 31st, 2006. Right. Can you give me that edition? Sure enough.
You're kidding.
Yeah, she was just telling me the other day that she said, I was talking about Alan Clemens, and she said, well, you know, Alan Clemens is a director of the bank. I said, no, I didn't know that. She said, oh, yes. I said, how do you know? He says, well, I have the edition of his picture here in the Myrtle Beach Herald.
That's unbelievable.
A picture of Alan Clemens.
Right.
And they were setting up a Thailand's Bank,
which is now a number of years old. That's right.
In Merle's Inlet, and I mean, I mean, if you're looking for it in the newspaper,
yes, we need
Shirley and Herb Bajerke. I gave you a name there. See,
absolutely, Shirley and Herb Bajerke. Yes, right. Don't think I won't track them down. That's fascinating.
They're great supporters of yours.
Well, I'm going to have to get them add a year on to their subscription for that. That's tremendous. What about the one great thing that we wanted to get into was that radio show that you had hosted
the
back.
Shuffling Sandman?
The Shuffling Sandman. I know we want to get on the...
1951, you can...
Can we still track down any episodes?
Well, my aunt had my last show that I did, at that time was on a disc.
Right.
That you played. So she had that disc, and I had Sarah Vaughan singing. The last song I did was Sarah Vaughan, and what did she do? I forget. In a chapel or something. I'm getting like Don Smith a little bit.
No.
Losing my gray memory.
I shouldn't have touched that subject then. We had some great questions. If you remember, you were with us.
And I did the opera. I did the
right.
opera. We
sure.
did the Manila Symphony under the baton of Aquino. And we did it at the Elizalde building. And Elizalde was a patron of the arts.
Right.
And he loved opera.
Right.
And that was and we got Helen Traubel at that time, one of the finest Wagnerian opera singers, who sang at the Met. She came there to do his concert, and she did it with Elizalde and Aquino at the Manila Symphony Orchestra, which is one of the big events that they had there in the Philippines back there in 1951.
Right.
Is that giving you my age?
That it's helped date you there a little bit, but we're not going to touch that subject entirely. We won't get there. If a viewer needs to get off to work now, John, what's the best phone number for someone to learn more about the Grand Strand Opera Workshop?
Okay, they can call, or why don't they call my cell, if you don't mind putting it down on the screen somewhere?
Absolutely, it's up here now.
385-3963.
385-3963. And if they just said, I want to learn more about the Grand Strand Opera Workshop, how can I get involved? Are there other places on the Strand? I think I remember actually at the Charleston Cafe, seated with a woman who goes to the Coastal Grand Mall sometimes on Saturdays and will watch operas there.
Oh yeah, they have it for the Metropolitan Opera. They put on once a month, I think.
Okay.
They're doing it on the network.
Sure. So you
and
just
they're also doing La Scala. I got a note from Steve Pollison,
right,
who does for another paper.
For the Sun News. Another
paper.
Yeah.
Another paper. I'm promoting the Myrtle Beach Herald.
Well,
you know that. I'm trying to get people to
yes, I appreciate that. Trying to help drive
subscribe because it's a local paper.
It is
and
local.
As you say, it's for local people, and
that's
what I'm doing. I'm a local person.
For locals, by locals.
But anyway, the La Scala Opera is now going to be doing that as well. So we're going to have La Scala coming on the internet as well. You can go see it in the movie theaters.
Great.
And the lady that was talking to you was telling us that she had just seen Humperdinck's Hansel and Gretel, that was being performed at the Metropolitan, and she said it was really spectacular. You had clarity. You can see the right up front with the artist that was singing it.
Did you ever sing in a full-length opera, John?
I sang in a half opera. I did La Traviata by Verdi with Maestro Ferrara.
Had you not shared earlier that you never like to be asked off the cuff just to throw in a little opera for us because you need a lot of preparation, I surely would have asked you here early this morning.
7:30 in the morning.
It would be very tough to get out. But of course, yeah, we'd hear a lot of that. There are some basic. There's some things when you're trying to introduce somebody to opera. If you have just a minute, if you were there standing in front of the crowd on September 15th and saying, here's some key things for the novices in the crowd. What are the most important things for someone to listen out for?
Watch the facial expression of Pavarotti while he's singing I Lombardi. Watch how the difference between he and Samuel Ramey, how they approach the notes. Samuel Ramey is a basso, profundo, really deep voice. Watch how he prepares himself because he has to go low. He has to hit the low register. And watch Pavarotti, the difference between
so it's watching more than listening.
How they approach.
Right.
We'll say, look, here's the aria that they're going to be singing in I Lombardi.
Right.
They're going to do a duet. Now watch them. Not only their actions on the screen and their emoting, how they're preparing themselves, but also watch their facial expressions. And watch Samuel, how he builds up his chest to hit those low bass notes.
So an opera,
you can actually see his diaphragm going forward and expanding as he hits that bass note. And Pavarotti is more of a head tones. The tones come through these cavities here, and the tenor voice comes through the head as well, and hitting those notes, soaring ahead. So you hear the bass quality, that low notes, as well as the high notes. So that's what you look for. That's what you tell them. And they're interested, and they do that. And they look for it. After the opera, I said, what did you discover? What did you look for? What did you hear? What did you like? What didn't you like?
Right. And you get varied answers all over the place. The great thing is you've highlighted that someone even who's hard of hearing or potentially even deaf could get a lot out of an opera by watching.
Sure.
That is fascinating. Well, folks, you'll have to attend. You said it's at 6:15.
But also they have, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, sure.
They also have the English subtitles on the bottom. So if you're deaf, you can see the English subtitles, but you can see the actions and so forth.
As you think back on your many years of interest in the opera, who's been your biggest inspiration in falling in love with opera, John?
Oh, God, I go way back to the early 1930s, 38, when I first heard the Aida opera with Jan Pierce. Was very fine. He did the Rigoletto. I remember the Rigoletto performance he did. Now don't ask me to cast because I'm getting to be like Don Smith.
Oh, right.
So I forgot
Poor
to cast.
Donald getting hammered.
If hammered,
well,
we're getting hammered.
Wait
until we finish at 8 o'clock.
Right. Yeah.
No coffee for me.
No coffee for you, even here at Villa Romana. Thanks so much for being with us this morning. I'm sorry we've run out of time.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Absolutely. Stay tuned to more Carolina People with the co-founder of the Grand Strand Opera Workshop, John Bonsignor, coming up next. Do the math. Do the math, the simple math. He actually let the cat out of the bag. 1938, fallen in love with opera. That puts him at least 70. How does this 70-year-old run all up and down the Strand, highlighting out late last night, saving cats? Early in the morning, heading out after catching the Little Carolina People, but heading out to work with cats, to be involved in the South Strand Republican Club, to help put together the newsletter for the Grand Strand Opera Workshop. How does he do it all? I don't know, but I think I want to say make sure and slow down a little bit, John. Simple phone number, 843-385-3963, 385-3963. If you want to learn more about the Grand Strand Opera Workshop and its big event a month from tomorrow, if you want to learn more about the South Strand Republican Club, if you want to learn more about helping to save cats in our community, give him a call. John Bonsignor is the one to make the call, too. John, thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you.
Great being with you. Yeah.